Hey guys, Frax1006 aka Wondermutt here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install Ubuntu version 10.10 and VMware Player version 3.0.0. This is going to be specifically if you're wanting to set up folding at home and net the most possible points. This is the reason I've chosen Ubuntu 10.10 and VMware Player 3.0.0. The Ubuntu version 10.10 is going to be the best suited for folding. It's going to net you the most points because that's what the client was optimized for. And then VMware Player 3.0.0 is the last version of VMware Player that would allow you to use more than 4 cores. So if you're using a 2600K or a 2700K or an AMD CPU that has more than more than 4 cores or more than 4 threads, you'll want to make sure that you're using VMware Player 3.0.0 or Oracle's VM VirtualBox, which I'll also do an install guide on that later on. You can use either one. VMware Player is a little bit easier to work with, but VirtualBox also has its advantages as well. I've actually used both. I'm currently using VirtualBox, but I bounce back and forth between the two. So let's go ahead and get started here. Now the first thing that we're going to need to do is to download VMware Player version 3.0.0. So what I've done, I went to Google, did a search for VMware Player 3.0.0, and initially I was going to download this directly from VMware. However, VMware now requires you to set up an account with them in order to download software, and I really didn't feel like doing that, so I went ahead, backed out to Google, and actually downloaded off of FileHippo here. So if you go to FileHippo, the first thing you'll notice is that it's showing VMware Player 4.0.4. You're doing this down the road, it may show a different version there. Of course, like I said, we don't want to use this version, we want to use version 3.0.0. But if you look over here on the right hand side, you'll see it's got all the different versions. We just want to select the 3.0.0 version, and there we go, and then click download this version. You'll get this screen and your download should start. Now I'm not going to bother actually walking through the process, as I've already downloaded and installed VMware Player, but I just wanted to walk you guys through the whole process here. So you go ahead, download it, save it, run your install just like installing any other program in Windows. One thing I will let you know ahead of time is that when you install the VMware Player, it is going to require a restart, so just so you know that going into it. Alright, and then while that's downloading, you can also go ahead and start downloading your Ubuntu 10.10. Just go to Google, do a search for Ubuntu 10.10 download. Very first one that pops up is Ubuntu's site that you can download directly off of, so go ahead and click that link. And when you get here, you're going to see there's quite a few different versions that you can download. What I recommend using is going to be this 64-bit PC AMD 64 desktop CD. Okay, now you do want to make sure that you're using 64-bit version of Ubuntu. If you're following this guide in order to set up the folding at home client, it will not work on the 32-bit version, so you do want to make sure that you're using the 64-bit version of Ubuntu. So go ahead and click on that. It's going to pop your download up here. Go ahead and download it. I'm not going to bother doing that because I downloaded it earlier today. Alright, and then the last thing that I would recommend doing while we're here is to go ahead and download ImageBurn. ImageBurn is going to allow you to burn Ubuntu, the Ubuntu ISO to a CD if you'd like. This isn't absolutely necessary. However, I personally like to keep backups of all the ISOs that I use, or all of the operating systems that I use on CD just so I have them if I ever need them in the future and I don't have to go digging for them. So anyway, what you would do, just do a search for Image Burn and click on download. It's going to bring up their download site, and I recommend downloading from either Image Burn directly or from Major Geeks. I've used both of those and haven't had any issues at all. Okay, now once you have Image Burn downloaded, you can go ahead and close out of your browser. You will have to go ahead and install Image Burn as well. As you can see, I've already got it installed, so I'm not going to walk through that, but you guys know how to do that. Alright, once it's installed, let's go ahead, open up Image Burn. You're going to want to select Write Image File to Disk, and then you need to go up here and go Browse for Source File. Here you're going to want to browse and find your Ubuntu 10.10 ISO that you just downloaded. Hit Open, and then you're going to want to select the destination where you want to burn it to. This it is highlighting my my CD-ROM drive. However, I've already got a Ubuntu disk in there for demonstration purposes here, so it's not going to let me try to burn it. But if you put a blank disk in, this is going to turn colored, and you'll just click on that. It'll burn the ISO to the disk, and then it'll tell you when it's done and you'll be ready to use it. So once that's finished up, go ahead and close out of Image Burn, and then we want to go ahead and open your VMware Player. Actually, you'll need to install VMware Player if you haven't already. Normal install process, just like I said before, it's going to require a restart. So go ahead and get that installed, let the system restart, and then when you first start it up, you're going to see it won't have anything here. It's just going to have this home button. These are a couple of virtual machines I've created that I use for different things. Alright, so from that home button there, we'll want to go ahead and click Create New Virtual Machine. Alright, and then you're going to get this pop-up that's asking you where you want to install the operating system from. If you've burned Ubuntu to a disk, you can select your disk drive, and you'll see it'll tell you that you're wanting to use Ubuntu 64-bit 10.10. I'm actually going to go ahead and just install it straight from the ISO that we downloaded, and so you'll just click Install Installer Disk Image File, click Browse, find your ISO file, and hit Open. And then you'll see it'll tell you what you're going to do. Also says it's going to use Easy Install. This is a really great feature with VMware Player. The Easy Install process pretty much makes the install process so that you don't have to do anything special. It will also install some tools for VMware Player that allows the virtual machine to work a little bit better with Windows. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit Next. And here it's going to ask for the information that Ubuntu will ask for when you're installing it. So first off, go ahead and fill in your name. So I'll fill in Frax1006. Next, you'll fill in your username. This will actually be your username in Ubuntu. Now, Ubuntu does not allow for capital letters in the username. It only allows for lowercase letters and numbers. So I'm going to use FRAX1006. And then for my password, since this is just kind of a dummy VM that I'm creating for this guide, I'm just going to use 123456, 123456. Alright, and once your password matches, you'll see this next button light up so that you can click it. So go ahead and hit Next. Then it's going to ask you for the virtual machine name. This is going to be the actual virtual machine name that'll show up in Windows. You can see here I've got Firefly and Firefly 2. So this one I'm just going to call Folding 1. You can call it whatever you want. And then the location. The default location is going to be in your My Documents, Virtual Machines, and then it'll create a folder for the specific virtual machine. I've just left mine there. Works just fine for me. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit Next. Then it's going to ask you to specify the disk capacity. This is going to be the maximum size of your virtual machine. And I'm going to go ahead and I always just leave this at the 20 gigabytes. I've never found a reason to change it. other than if you end up running a backup on your folding client, which some people do if they're folding big advanced work units. I don't bother with it. But if you are, those files can get to be those backup files can get to be pretty large. When I did used to run a backup file in the past, I bumped that up to 50 gigabytes. Now, of course, do keep in mind this is going to be taking space off of your hard drive. So it's going to show up, as one folder that's going to have a 20 gigabyte file or a 50 gigabyte file, whatever size you set this to. But 20 is sufficient if you're just going to be using the standard folding client or even folding big advanced. 20 is going to be more than enough space. Now down here you've got a couple of options. Your first one is to store the virtual disk as a single file, or you can split the virtual disk into 2 gigabyte files. Splitting it is just makes it a little bit easier if you're going to be transferring this virtual machine over to another computer. I've used this a few times. It is nice, so that if the only thing you've got to transfer it with is an 8 gigabyte thumb drive, you can transfer the files, a couple, 2, 3, 4 files at a time from one computer to the other. And that's actually what I did with these two virtual machines you see up here and these two, is I actually use these same virtual machines on 3 different computers, which was really nice. I just had to copy the file and then transfer it onto the other computer, install VMware Player, and then that virtual machine will work on any computer that you have a VMware Player set up on. So that's a really nice feature with when you're using virtual machines. Now, since I don't plan on moving this one, I'm just going to use the store virtual disk as single file. Let's go ahead and hit next. And here it's going to give you kind of a breakdown of what it's creating. Now, the one thing you will notice is that for memory, it's only the default is only 512 megabytes of memory. We do want to go ahead and change that. So what you'll want to do is click on Customize Hardware. Okay, and on this screen, there are going to be a few things that we're going to want to change. The first, like I said, is going to be the memory. Now, I recommend giving the virtual machine 4 gigabytes of memory, or 4,000 megabytes is sufficient. And the reason I say that is because if you are going to be folding big advanced work units, they can actually use over 3 gigabytes of memory just for the folding client while it's folding those big advanced work units. So you want to make sure you give it plenty of memory. 4 gigabytes would be sufficient. You can go higher than that. I'll be honest with you, I run 12 gigabytes of RAM in my system, in this particular system, so I actually usually do 8,000 megabytes. Here, 8 gigabytes. But 4 gigabytes is sufficient, so I'm going to go ahead and just use that. Okay, and so type in 4,000 there, and then the next thing we want to change is the processors. And you'll see this is the number of processor cores. And initially, the highest it will allow you to go is going to be 4 cores or 4 threads. I will have another video that I'll upload immediately after this that shows you how to change that. If you're using a 2600, a 2700, a 2600K, a 2700K, or an AMD processor that has more than 4 cores or threads, I'll have that video posted that'll show you how to adjust VMware Player 3.0.0 to utilize more than 4 cores. But for now, let's go ahead and set that as 4 cores. This will work just fine if you're using 2500K or if you're using an AMD CPU that only runs 4 cores. Alright, and the next thing that I always like to do is go to the network adapter, and it's going to default to this NAT used to share host IP address. I don't like to use that just because I actually monitor my folding from a different computer on my network. So I like to use this bridge connection. What that does is it actually makes the VM or the virtual machine show up as a separate computer on your network, so that you'll be able to access shared files in the virtual machine or shared files in Ubuntu in the virtual machine with other computers on your network. So go ahead and select that and then hit OK. Alright, and then down here you see where it says power on this virtual machine after creation. I always recommend doing that, so just leave that box checked and click finish. Okay, and here you're going to see it's going to start downloading the VMware Tools for Linux. So this download usually takes a few moments, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and I'll jump back to you guys as soon as that's done. Alright, so once it finishes downloading those tools, you'll see it's here, so it says all updates finished, so go ahead and hit close. And as you can see, the easy install for Ubuntu 64-bit is going on in the background. And when you're looking at this, it's going to give you a little page you can click through, tells you a little bit about Ubuntu. And so this install process does take a little bit of time, probably about 10 to 15 minutes depending on the speed of your computer. So I would say take this time to take a break, go get something to eat or drink. As Digigami says in his guide, go have a sandwich and come back. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here while this is finishing the install, and I'll come back to you guys as soon as that's done. Alright guys, and my install is just completing here, and you can see once that install is done, it's actually going to go ahead and it should log me straight into, yep, there we go, into Ubuntu. And you're going to get this black screen that's saying that you have to type your Ubuntu login, so go ahead and click into your virtual machine. Right. Okay. Alright, well it should let you log in here. Ah, there we go. Alright, so apparently you do have to close out that little screen at the bottom. Oh, nope, actually it's going to go ahead and pop me over here. I took too long there. Normally, though, you would be able to go ahead and type in your username, hit enter, it'll ask for your password, hit enter, and it'll log you into Ubuntu. But if you do wait, or if you come back and you find this screen up, go ahead and click on your username. It'll ask for your password. One thing I always forget is that when Ubuntu boots up in VMware Player, it does not have the numlock activated. So you do have to activate the numlock if you're used to using your number pad. So go ahead and turn that on, type in my password, the 123456, and hit login. Alright, now that I'm logged in, I'm going to go ahead and maximize this screen just to make things a little bit easier to see. And I'm going to go ahead and do some cleanup here. Since this is a virtual machine, we don't need some of the features that are set up standard with Ubuntu 10.10. Also, I should see an update box pop up here telling me that there's a new version of Ubuntu. So usually that takes a few minutes. Sometimes it won't pop up at all, but if it doesn't, I'll walk through how to take care of the updates as well. Okay, and sorry about that, guys. Actually, I paused the video for just a second there because I got a text. And when I did, I actually got the pop-up I was talking about there. So this is going to pop up and say, welcome to Ubuntu 11.04. It's just telling you that Ubuntu 11.04 was available, and it's going to ask you if you want to upgrade. Go ahead and click on Don't Upgrade. Like I said, we do want to use version 10.10 because that is what the folding client is optimized for. And then you're going to get this pop-up box that's just confirming that you want to decline the upgrade. So go ahead and hit OK. And you're also going to get this pop-up box that says your Ubuntu release is not supported anymore. Unfortunately, 10.10 is no longer supported by the makers of Ubuntu, but that's really no big deal. Everything that we need's already been done anyway, so go ahead and close that out. And then next you see your install or your update manager to install your updates. And we do want to install the updates, however, we do want to adjust the settings first. So when you click on Adjust Settings, first thing it's going to do is ask for your password. Once again, the numlock isn't set for me here. There we go. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if you're using my password there. And what we want to do is uncheck this check for updates. Go ahead and take that off. And the reason I'm saying that is because 10.10 is no longer supported. Once we install the updates that are here, there's no sense in having the update manager run in the background to try to check for updates every day. Alright, so the next thing you want to do also is this release upgrade. Go ahead and change that to never. Since we are using this for the folding client, we don't want to have that update manager looking for new upgrades either in Ubuntu. Alright, so once we have both of those set, go ahead and hit close. And then we do want to go ahead and install the updates. You can see there's quite a few of them. So go ahead and click Install Updates. And once again, it's going to ask for your password. And hit Authenticate. And then it's going to download and install the updates. Now, as you can see, there are 376 megabytes worth of updates, so this part is going to take quite a bit of time as well. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, let that run through, and then I'll come back to you guys and we'll put the finishing touches on this. Okay, and here you can see looks like my downloads are most, if not all the way completed, and it's applying the changes from the downloaded updates. So this as well takes a few minutes. The updates actually took about 10 to 15 minutes or so. I wasn't paying attention to the time there, sorry. But this also takes a few minutes. Just wanted to show you guys. You will expect to see something like this if you've clicked on the details. If not, you'll just see the applying changes instead of downloading. So yeah, this is going to take a few more minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video once again, and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, and once it completes, you actually you won't see this window here. I had that open looking at something else, but you will see this update manager, and everything is gone. There are no updates to install. So let's go ahead and close that out. Now, just a couple of last kind of housekeeping things that I like to do. First off, I always like to go ahead and turn off the screensaver. I figure the screensaver I have on my Windows 7 system will work. I don't need to have this one, so let's go ahead and just unselect the activate screensaver. Also going to unselect the lock screensaver or the lock screen when screensaver is active. This will make you log back in if or it'll ask you for a password if the screensaver hits. And then just for good measure, I always kick this up to like 2 hours. Alright, and then next we want to go into the power management. Just make sure that this put computer to sleep when inactive 4 is selected as never. Do not click on the spin down hard disk whenever possible. We don't need to worry about that since it's a virtual machine. And then the put display to sleep when inactive 4. You can leave this one up if you want. It'll just cause the screen to go black when it's inactive for however amount of time you choose. I do leave that set at 15 minutes. What that'll do is just cause my screen to go black, or the window that my folding client is in to go black after 15 minutes. It's nothing, no big deal. You can choose whatever you want there. Alright, so let's go ahead and close that. Close out of the screensaver preferences. And the next thing that we want to do is to get rid of that, the login screen, so that it doesn't ask us for the password every time we log in. Alright, and what you'll do is go up to System, go to Administration, go to Login Screen, and then hit Unlock. And then it's going to ask you to type in your password again, hit Authenticate. And then now I was playing with this. I paused the video and wanted to figure it out. It's a little bit different than the last time I did it, but Normally it'll show you, it'll be selected like this, where it's going to say show login screen, choose who's logging in. What you want to do is go ahead and click on login as and your username, so frax1006 automatically, and then allow. This is going to be set to 15 seconds. I went ahead and knocked it down to 1 second since nobody else is going to be using this virtual machine. So once you've done that, just go ahead and hit close, and then you will need to go ahead and restart your session of Ubuntu to install your updates. Just click on the power button, hit restart, and it'll restart and complete the install of all those updates. And with that, you should be all set to go. So hope you guys liked the video. Hope you found it informative. Hope it helped you out. Do like, subscribe. Please feel free to leave comments if you have any questions or need any help with the install. I'll be more than happy to help you. You can also find me on overclock.net if you just do a search for Wondermutt, and I should be the one and only user that pops up there. I'd be more than happy to help you on there as well. And so I hope you guys liked the video, and yeah, stay tuned. I'll have some upcoming videos. I will be doing a video on how to install the folding client. I'll also be doing a video on how to set up a big advanced folding so that you can do the 6903 and the 6904 work units that net you 250 to 350,000 points a piece. So those videos will be posted up shortly. So please do subscribe to my YouTube channel and keep an eye out for those. I thank you guys and hope you have a great day.